Last episode left us discouraged, unable to kill the blood moon in our current state, but we do have some hope, a few options to power up. So as I waited for the poll to tally, I got some busy work done. Last episode's Shade Slayer task left us with a bunch of remains that were just dying to be turned into keys, and from our bounty of 2 full inventories of keys, we got the Flatimer bag and 1 piece of cloth. That is really terrible. But what about the other items? Surely those aren't bad, right? Well, this is Lorebound, a restricted Iron Man who is unable to do anything unless the game teaches him how to, through dialogue, books, or in-game text. These items have been unnamed, so they get tossed into our no-no tab in the bank. Unfortunately, despite gaining some level of normalcy when it comes to the skilling department, our best in slot melee gear is this. And when paired up with the Perilous Moon's Blood Moon, yeah, we're having a tough time. And so I submitted this poll. Which of these 4 options would net us closer to beating the Perilous Moons? Continuing to wait, I completed a few more clue scrolls, and while I did have some trouble figuring out just who the heck this graceful man of many colors was, I did eventually figure out it meant this guy in graceful armor that runs a clothing shop. I also started labeling general coordinates locations by major teleport locations to better help me speed up coordinates clue navigation. Yet another cipher led us to Wizard Treborn, and he had a challenge scroll for us. And I swear, Wizard Treborn has unlocked more useful spells than any other character in this game. This is going to be our Barrows killer. Teleporting out, holy hell, a beekeeper event. This is the 2nd time he has appeared to us in this area, and that means we only need 1 more of these events. 1 more, and then we can finally test to see if the full beekeeper outfit actually will substitute for the insect repellent in order to get us the bucket of wax. Of all things blocking us, this is one thing that I cannot control. All we can do is hope that it comes sooner rather than later. 2 beginner and medium clue caskets in hand, we open them, nothing on the first, a black axe on the second, which would have been great a while ago when we needed it, but now it's nothing more than a backup. And the mediums, collection log slot, it's a firelighter. It got me a little excited for a second. 1 more, and okay, another useless item for us. That's okay though, because we can always get more clues. Finally, enough time had passed, the poll results are in, and those are close. This was the early poll, and this is the current poll. And you know what? Screw it. We're gonna do both today to some capacity. We're gonna take on both Fossil Island and the Underground Pass. Maybe not Regicide, we'll see how time allows. And as for the order, initially Fossil Island was the initial winner, so we'll get to that one first. Our first hurdle is the dig site quest, and much like the Prince Ali rescue quest, this was a rather dull experience. In fact, it was the 4th ever members quest I ever completed on my original RuneScape account, and it sucked. I remember this quest took me like 10 hours to beat, and as a child that was like a week, because I had a limit of like 2 hours a day, because I could not figure out how to get nitroglycerin. Well, this time around, I do remember. I'll give a brief summary of the quest, but really there isn't much to the dig site quest. You need permission to dig at a dig site, so you need to take several exams. This journey unlocks pickpocketing of dig site workers, the concept of panning, and this student, while normally a bratty piece of garbage, actually unlocks opals for us, so I'm more than happy to run to the bank for one. Between all these questions, we find ourselves capable of excavating dirt, and a couple inventories of garbage later, we find an ancient talisman. We take it to Terry Belando, who gushes over our find and grants us special permission to use the underground lifts. We get some rope, turn in the inventory wasting certificates to the curator, get a chocolate cake in return, and venture into the deep. Using the Book of Chemicals as a guide, we gather a measure of question mark, which is the route nearby, clearly the Arsania route, the ammonium nitrate by talking to this guy for a key, opening this chest, and getting Terry to identify the powder, and lastly we use a trowel to pop off the lid to this barrel of death, scooping it out into a vial, and again getting Terry to identify it as nitroglycerin. Not before exploding one for fun though, of course. Combined, we smear it on some rubble, run back to the bank for a tinderbox, and then blow a massive hole in this fragile archaeological site, claiming a stone tablet in the center of a Zerosian altar and returning to Terry for our reward. Quest complete. Now we require 100 kudos for Bon Voyage. Thankfully, between the quests we've already done, the rare drops we got in Camdozel, we only need a few lucky finds to identify and clean a few artifacts, which are explained to us here in order to make up the remaining points. And while we're at it, might as well also unlock the ruby necklace and the cosmic runes. This item might be a little bit important to me, so pardon me for the slight detour here. We start the Bon Voyage quest with the curator, who mentions that we might have exactly the gumption needed that he's been looking for. He tells us there's an island of significant archaeological value north of Mauritania, and we can help. He tells us to report to the foreman for further instruction. Hello, foreman. Oh, you need some high-grade wood from the western lands and need to negotiate a trade between the lumber yards on behalf of the museum? Sounds good to me. Ah, the Hosidius Woodcutting Guild is the other location, eh? Would be a shame if my home teleport tablet was set up to Hosidius. Oh, that is our first redwood mention. Redwood planks specifically, but redwood nonetheless. Okay, it is dealt with. Man, this really is just one small favor, isn't it? Returning to the foreman, he says, oh, they've already reinforced the boat. They work quick. I board the boat and speak to the lead navigator, who tells us that the voyage is quite cursed. And frankly, I'm gonna actually slow this down a bit, because this is by far one of the funniest dialogues in a quest. You see, this is the 10th expedition, and all 9 have previously failed. The first boat didn't float. The second one had too many features and experienced buoyancy problems. The third was sealed with a sealant that attracted sea monsters. The fourth, a sealant that attracted icebergs. The fifth crashed into the sixth. The seventh was lost. That's it, lost somewhere. The eighth is still here, but due to a magical explosion and talking anchovies, it resides 12 seconds out of phase. And the ninth was made with magic logs, so the barge gained sentience, developed serious depression, and ran aground near Crandor. So the navigator thinks the journey is cursed, likely, and wants us to find some anti-curse mechanisms by talking to the sailors in Port Sarim. And curses are no kidding matter. Jack Seagull recommends a lucky charm, while Ahab tells us of the potion of sea legs. Turns out the navigators want both. So we pick up a charm from the odd old man, and after gathering a few ingredients from the gnomish bar and our bank, we work alongside the apothecary to make a potion of sea legs. Truly an herbal mix with a whole lot of vodka. As expected, upon giving the navigator the potion and the assistant navigator the charm, why are you passing the potion to the rest of the crew? Of course, everyone but me and the assistant navigator are unconscious. Can't be cursed if they're not aware of their surroundings. Through a rather unsavory minigame, I sure hope sailing doesn't reflect this, we arrive safely on the island. Quest completed. Now our big helper, our saving grace for Fossil Island, hopefully, is this things to do sign, and there is a lot here. Constructing bank chests, cleaning benches, wells, cooking pots, spinning wheels, and looms, none of which are actually useful in our player-owned home, as none of them exist. Scrolling down, we have mush tree transportation, enriched bone use, the wyvern cave, mermaid tears, drift nets, and seaweed farming underwater. They're all big unlocks, but even larger lies below. Bittercap mushrooms were already unlocked, but using them in the pit is a new concept. Chopping down sculiceps, poisoning them with fungicide with a proboscis, gives us a fungicide unlock and a new use case for our proboscises. Probosci? We don't actually know how to stun a tar monster, but having the tar monster unlocked might come in handy. And there, blammo, kill the deranged archaeologist is a big one. The whole reason we came here to hunt for the steel ring drop. Oh, but the unlocks aren't done yet. The standard birdhouse is also unlocked, though we don't know how to make it nor what to fill it with. Volcanic ash is unlocked, as is using it to make ultra compost, and the volcanic mine was also mentioned. After a quick reconstruction trip, we unlock the bank and then get every other construction unlock in the area. We do some light exploring, pick up some charcoal from some more burnt trees, unlocked thanks to the RFD Goblin subquest and the Goblin Cook, learn the basics of the volcanic mine, unlock Numulites, which we do not have yet. I talk to Weave, hoping for a specific wyvern mention, but no dice there as well. Irene introduces us to a weird mushroom pool thing, and calcium and phosphate drops. the process of adding fossilized bones to the pool, and unlocking of enriched bones by that thought process. We also travel to the house on the hill and find a really cool ancient diary, which I think would be a much more valuable read once we get to the Dragon Slayer 2 quest. Finally, we unlock the mush tree in the swamp by taking the Stranger Danger mushroom. Gearing up in our best mage equipment, we prepped ourselves for the fight ahead. I attempt to prayer flick in order to save some prayer, and with the wind blast spell, I can minimize our rune usage. Also, I don't know why I didn't use my Tome of Water here. I feel kind of dumb looking back at this footage. First kill dumb though, we grab the crystal key. One attempt more. Oh, that's not good. So it turns out our run back here is awful. Bank to Arty Cloak to Spirit Tree to Glider to Boat to Mush Tree to Loot. On return, we grab our gear and get 2 more kills. However, our death runes are dwindling, and quickly. I tried to perhaps tank the ranged hits to save on some prayer. Yeah, there's a reason we don't do that. Re-grabbing our gear, we get 1 more kill, and then go back to the drawing board. A dig site pendant would be worthwhile to get, as it would cut down on our restock time significantly. So, let's do 3 of the 4 options today for kicks and giggles. I make our way over to the Gemstone Crab, who is unmistakably called the Giant Crab by this NPC nearby. Good enough for me, as with the context rule, there is no other reasonable enemy he could be talking about. All we need to do is mine the Gemstone Crab when he dies, and we might be able to get the rubies we require. What? Flippa? Come on. I need to work on my DPS. There's no time for a random event. Wait, Flippa gives gems. Haha! There is no way we just got 5 rubies. Great timing, RNG gods. Oh, we're 1 level short of gold bars. Would be a shame if we needed some more arrowheads anyways. Gold bars made, ruby necklaces made, enchantment placed, dig site pendant. Our first transportation jewelry has been unlocked. And while this was happening, something clicked. Something that I could do right now to speed up our kills even further. Something I needed to do anyways. The Underground Pass. You see, the Underground Pass isn't just a quest requirement anymore. It has the Iban staff, and if anyone knows this staff, they would know it's quite a strong upgrade for accounts like us. I grab a mass of what I think are useful items, get into our best melee set, and head to King Lathas. As a refresher, our previous quest led us to find the plague. The general perceived reason for isolating West Ardoin was a fake. Instead, King Tyrus, King Lathas' brother, was to blame. He was under the control of a dark force, and in order to protect the lands, King Lathas quarantined the area. We need to stop King Tyrus. However, we need to get to the Western Lands and have no other route there. Thus, we are tasked with navigating the Underground Pass with Koftik, the king's main tracker, to find a way through. Koftik warns us that the pass is not just a perilous regular cave, but there is a darkness, a chill, that penetrates your very being here, and people have gone missing in the caves. We enter the cave, and memory serves us well. By using the context clues of charred remains and some arrows and a cloth, which Koftik gives us, we use the cloth on an arrow, light it, and shoot down the bridge. I'm not sure if I can designate the fire arrow as a quest item, but the context clues from the dialogue should be more than enough to make up for that regardless. We press onward, reading the tablets en route. With some ouchies, we mark a clear path across the spike floor, sneak past some traps, don't sneak past some others, read a journal about some spheres of light, which we then collect and incinerate without incident, but a lot of damage because I got impatient with the traps. We climb down the well to the next level. Honestly, I recall the difficulty and the convolutedness of this quest only really spikes once we hit the main room, so I don't anticipate any trouble until then. We forgot the spade. Resupplying, spade in hand, we retrace all of our steps again and dig our hole. Now, the quest does recommend 50 thieving to bypass this area, but with our 70 agility, I doubt this will be any problem for us. And I was correct. It was not. Koftik again appears ahead, and the murmurings of the cavern are definitely taking its toll on him. I recall needing to kill this unicorn, but honestly I followed a quest guide for it last time, so I don't remember how to do this. Further in, we find 3 paladins. Good unlock for us, who are friendly enough to share some of their foodstuffs with us. And also, wow, that's a prayer potion. Even further in, we're met with a riddle. While I sense the soft beating of a good heart, I will not open. Okay, that's the unicorn. Feed me 3 crests of the blessed and the creature's remains. That can only refer to whatever item I get from the paladins and the unicorn, and then we can pass. We inspect the cage and find a broken railing, the leverage and quest item we need to kill the unicorn. The remains just so happens to be a unicorn horn as well, which means the remains it was specifically talking about gloriously is a new unlock for us, which happens to be the last item we also need to be able to make our own anti-poisons. We sacrifice the horn and return to the paladins. Not sure whether to prioritize prayer or food, I kill the paladins without using much prayer, siding on food as we do still need 3 open slots for their crests anyways. Tossing them into the well, the door unlocks and our real challenge begins. Koftik, now completely taken by the curse of Iban, tells us that besides ourselves and the dwarves, all fall under his rule. He tells us to slay the dwarves to the south and through the tunnel. The quest journal is now eerily 50-50 on what we should do. Should we kill them, or should we get them to help me? Yep, this is what I remember. An agonizingly long chamber with no run energy. And also falling repeatedly, but this is the first time I'm attempting with such a high agility level, so hopefully that isn't an issue. Arriving in the dwarven settlement, we speak to Miloof, who tells us more about Iban and how he controls a gateway to the other side of the pass, known as the Well of Voyage. So I guess he has to die then? If only it were that easy though. Niloof tells us about a witch, who's the only one who knows how to get rid of Iban. He also gives us some food and wishes us luck. Clank teaches us about Iban's followers and the Soulless. 2 unlocks. The Soulless pack quite a bite apparently, and Clank's solution for that though happens to be a very unforeseen boon for Lorebound. Clank's gauntlets. Usually outclassed by Barrows gloves, Clank's gauntlets hold a very early game use case for tank gauntlets. But since we don't have access to any of our RFD gloves and none of them have been mentioned, we can use these gloves and to great effect. Lastly, Cayman tells us about his homebrew liquor, and he warns us not to put it near any naked flames. There's a barrel of it around here as well. Could be helpful later. We take a swig and hoo-hoo, Nelly, that is potent stuff. He also sells food apparently, but we don't have the coins. Checking our log, our next clue lies with Cardia the Witch. Heading up without incident, we find her distracted, looking for her cat, whom we... Oh yes, the agility level drain thanks to the strong alcohol. Should have guessed it. We find the Tamarok, I swear I will hunt you down personally. After some lucky navigation, we find the misplaced cat, return to the witch, enter her home, and steal several important items from her chest, including a few potions which are unfortunately unnamed. This is usually where the confusion sets in, but then again, when I first did this quest, I was a child and did not generally read things. The Book of Iban is a bit long to read, but to summarize, in life, he was an ambitious man of nobility. Insatiably so, to the point in which he had no qualms in dipping into evil to get what he desired. After death, the witch used her own powers to raise him from the dead and become the master of the same. The doll happens to be the key. In a tomb below lies his cold flesh. The giant spider Kalreg, blood claimed by the witch, became one with Iban's blood. His shadow, forged from the bonds of 3 demons in a triangle, bind to his power. And lastly, a dove, innocent, strangled, became his corrupted soul. One of the servants took the dove, and they were locked in one of the northern cages to atone for their sins. The very process that brought him to life could be used to destroy him. Very well then. We start with the flesh. Reading the nearby stone tablet, we find that unless the flesh becomes as ash and the wood becomes dust, the corpse will not die. But the tomb does not light. Hey bud, I think that alcohol is gonna come in pretty handy sooner rather than later. Love the smell of cremation in the morning. Next is Kalreg, whom, despite their size, is a lot easier than the Moons of Peril, so we breeze through the fight. Recalling the ambush that waits at her death, Protect Melee saves the day. On the northern side, we find another route up and begin to examine the cages to the north. Clank's gauntlets save us from any damage caused by the Soulless. There was no bird item. No big pop-up, easily missed, a subtle dialogue of finding the dove was nearly missed, leaving just one more step. Running a marathon to the southeast, then north, we press beyond the witch's house to the 3 demons in triangle, killing each one with prejudice. I tried melee, but yeah, this is a bow and arrow kind of fight for me. We drop a few items I think we're done with, collect 3 amulets, and open a chest with the power of the demons, finding a strange dark liquid and an item image I've never seen anywhere else. The doll has been prepped, and all we have to do now is to kill Ivan by tossing the doll into the well of voyage. We work our way around, talking to one of the disciples who recognizes us as not a disciple, and on his death, he gives us some robes. And yes, they do have stats, but these are very much quest items. Once we reach the door, it becomes clear that they are required for passage. Donning the robes, we enter. Ivan claims that we will hear Zamorak's call forever as we have already fallen, and then proceeds to do nothing but lock our movement for several seconds. There come the attacks. Okay, 1 doll into the well. Okay, that didn't work. As I said, 1 doll into the well, the cavern quakes, the temple collapses, and we as well fall down the well. We land in a cave and Ivan's staff lands alongside us. Koftik is up ahead, having returned to his senses. It seems we too also return to our senses. A unicorn, a boulder, paladins. Our memory is fuzzy. He leads us through the caves, back to the entrance. We return to the king to report. We tell him the portal is damaged and in need of repair, but otherwise Ivan is slain and the pass is ready. Quest complete. And yes, it does say use of the Ivan's Blast spell. This was a worry of mine. Might as well start regicide while we're here. Some elves on the other side, ones dealing with rebellion, are gonna meet us on the other side to take care of King Tyrus. Cool, but what about the staff? Upgrade is 200k. Yeah, I don't have that kind of money. Even if I wanted to, that would take hours to here's your money, you damn evil man. Not as evil as I though, because we need death runes, and we need them badly. Thank you for your courage, cat. Please enjoy mousing for the remainder of your days. Tome of water in offhand, new robes donned. It might look hodgepodge, but it is indeed our first full set of magic gear. We head to the deranged archaeologist again. The kills were far quicker now. Our max hit is 25. Still doesn't mean we can be stupid though. Holy balls of all times, beekeeper! This way. Okay, yeah, I can't say yes fast enough. We got it. The whole beekeeper outfit. Let's not waste our 100 damage though. Maybe we should have wasted our damage with a drop like that. Moment of truth, guys. Does the full beekeeper outfit work as a substitute for the insect repellent? Yes, it does. It works. Wax acquired. We quickly exchange it for a black candle. Gather our required items. I use the bat bones apparently. Conduct a ritual. Guess randomly and correctly at the incantation. And imbue Excalibur with the power to dispel Merlin's crystal. Quest complete. The longest quest hurdle, barring recipe for disaster, has just been passed. Well, back to killing. Oh, well, that is a good drop. We do have that unlocked, and if we get our fletching level up, we could very well make a rune crossbow of our own. A rune two-hander, onyx bolt tips, diamonds. We squeak by the money cap, selling off just a few of our diamonds, head immediately to Xanaris, past the toll booth, and into the dragon weaponry vendor. Unfortunately, the dialogue says dragon sword specifically, so no dagger unlock here. We could get some luck on some worms in the future, though. But we weren't here for the dagger anyways, though. We got the long sword spec to think about. With a long sword spec in our back pocket and our new armored gloves, Clank's gauntlets, I gotta see if there's a difference at the Blood Moon. 63 health, still not enough. Perhaps if I use the Excalibur spec to start and then save longsword specs for later, it could make the difference. I'm also pre-chugging an attack potion at the brains to give us a little more oomph at the start of the fight. 42 health, it's just not enough. We still need that ring, I think, and we're out of death runes. I try with Wind Strike, but the kills are intolerably long. I need to think of another way of getting death runes, and I think I know just the thing. Scrap 2 poles. We get 3 poles today. Reading through a book labeled Legends of the Brothers, and talking to the strange old man, the 6 Barros brothers are mentioned, but no individual names are given. We know one is a mage and another is a ranger, but is the 6 Barros brothers enough? Can we slay the brothers 6 and find the icon found in the chest? Or shall we wait until we unlock the boss's slayer tasks and only do them on those tasks? our fate lies in your hands. Thank you so much for watching, and a very special thank you comes out to our channel members Rivacious, Harry Enjoys Ducks, Ahumaya, and Nantuko Avatar. Have you even subscribed yet? Seriously, make sure that button's pressed, as I release episodes much more often than a lot of other OSRS creators, and we do not want you missing out on our adventure. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!